Wait, you had the shot, right? We can't. Corona isn't real.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Nope. That's how I worked it in my head.
One person with corona versus one person vaccinated.
Don't you give me all this logic.
Not great chances.
Nope, I worked it out in my head, and
you can still get it.
Also, Whole Foods is racist. That was another thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, tell that story.
Whole Foods is racist.
Okay, there we go. That was succinct. Okay.
But no, when Lawrence was telling me that, I went in there one time, and then at the door they were like, "Oh, you gotta leave your book bag at the front door." And I was like, "Of course I have to leave my book bag at the front door. That's pretty logical." And as I was walking through, I was like, "Everyone else has book bags on. They only made me take mine off."
Cool. Yeah, like I said, bananas cost like $3 there, so I mean I feel like that's inherently racist.
Also, we won a Grammy for our podcast. We didn't, but I'm just gonna say we did.
Hooray!
Since everyone else got a Grammy.
Well, we did get that guy fired from Mumford and Sons. I'm taking credit for that.
I like how you preemptively just like, I'm gonna take some time off.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just taking a break, guys. That I just happened to be doing at just right after this story came out about how I'm a piece of shit. Completely coincidental.
Not sure if we had mentioned this on a previous episode, but when I was looking at that, when he announced that he was taking time off, someone posted, they were like, "Oh, this is a weird way I had to find out that Mumford and Sons are they're from England apparently." Mm-hmm. And the dude was like, "I thought they were just like from the South somewhere," and I was like, "They're not from America?" And I told Rob that, and Rob was like, "They're not from America." I was like, "Apparently they're not. They've just been faking this whole time."
They're not faking anything.
I know, but for some reason I just thought they were from like Colorado or something. I don't know.
That's English folk music.
I just thought they were from the South somewhere. They had a banjo player.
Yeah.
Colorado's
Minnesota
not in the
is what
South.
I would have said. I wouldn't have said the
Minnesota.
South. Just I wouldn't have said the South.
What
just
about
somewhere.
that makes you think Minnesota?
I don't know.
I don't even know where Minnesota is. So.
Washington is also a possibility.
All right, you guys.
Or
You guys should have let me finish that geography lesson.
They grew up on a farm in the U.S. is what I think. Minnesota's got a lot of farms.
I don't know. It makes me think of like English
It's a boring
coal mines,
place.
personally.
The other
I
day,
don't know, I haven't listened to it in like 13 years. Whenever that came out.
Junior had to.
It's not really worth going back to.
Junior went to Connecticut to film. Like he's filming like some pitch for like some Netflix show. He was like, "Hey, I'm going to Connecticut," and I was like, "Is that next to New York?" He was like, "You're going the right way." I was like, "I don't know where anything is."
Oh my god! What?
I can point out Florida, Texas, California, Michigan. And that's all.
James. It was really sad.
When we went to Cancun, there was a flight to there was a layover flight to fly from Florida to Texas, I think. And I was like, "What? Why are those two places connected?" And then Tony was like, "They're kind of like right across from each other." And I was like, "What?" And I looked at a map, and I was like, "Oh." I was like, "I don't know where anything is. I should probably." I failed geography here.
That is kind
clearly.
of that's kind of a weird layover, but it's just because they're one of those must have been like a hub.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, which way were you going? I was only half listening to that.
We were going to Cancun.
Oh, and you had a layover in Florida? Is that what you said?
It was to fly from Florida
I missed all
to
of
Texas.
This story.
I missed all of my life.
Yeah, I mean,
Mumford and Sons aren't from Wyoming.
Where is Wyoming? Is it in the middle? We should do an episode where Cliff just like teaches me where things are.
This is bumming.
They're not
me.
from Montana.
This is bumming me out.
Look, I went to school in Detroit. I can't.
They just seem like they'd be from one of the flat states.
Also, I just found out that I just found this out, but
I'm sad
that I can blame things on coronavirus. Like when we were talking about going to the dentist, when they asked me, I had this all planned out. When they asked me, like, why are your teeth in such bad shape? I'm like, well, the pandemic. I was didn't have a job. I'm just gonna blame everything on the pandemic from now.
Yeah. Oh, the Rona. Why do you smell bad? Rona.
Pandemic. There was a whole year where I wasn't able to.
Dude, your foot's turning black. Rona.
There was a pandemic. You just blame anything on it. When my mom asked me, like, why aren't you married yet? Pandemic.
Pandemic. It's real close. I was so close.
Pandemic shut all that down. Also, what else happened in the news?
Why don't you know where Montana is? Pandemic.
They never taught us during the pandemic.
They stopped teaching me geography. You are 30 years old.
I'm gonna be lost. Like if it comes to it where like a zombie apocalypse or something, and I have to we have to go this way. I'm gonna be lost. I'm like, I can get you to downriver mostly. That's all.
Could you though? Could you? What road do you go down to get downriver?
I'd probably just walk right up Michigan Avenue until I get to. I don't think actually
that's not going to take you downriver.
It's probably not.
It's not going to take you downriver. That's going to take you to Westland, and then
I can get you down the street at most.
Could you get home from here?
Oh, I could. I just walk right up.
Yeah, you must have rode your bike
I can. Yeah.
before.
Yeah, I would just walk right up Woodward.
Okay. So from where you live now,
Get to
how do you get downriver? How do you get downriver?
Oh man.
How do you get to I'm trying to think
Walk up Fort Street, maybe. I was listening to this.
getting closer.
I was listening to this one podcast, and the guy was talking about. He was like, "The kids these days, they don't know anything." He was like, "If I drop my daughter off 5 blocks from the house, she wouldn't be able to find her way home." And I was like, "Oh, she sucks." And I was like, "Oh God." It's like I probably wouldn't be able to find my way home either.
I believe in love, baby. You really wanna stay with me. You wanna believe in love, baby. You really wanna stay with me. Do you believe in love, baby? You really wanna stay with me. I believe in love, baby. You really wanna stay with me. All my life, darling, I've been thinking about a woman.
Hi, Cliff.
What's the name of this podcast?
Some kind of sound.
Is it
What do we do on this podcast?
some stuff?
I don't know.
Usually we listen to one-hit wonders, but this is another special week.
Woo!
It's James's birthday week.
Which I didn't even know.
James.
I didn't even know it was my birthday this week until Cliff
means-
said it last week.
Yeah. So that means James got to pick an album,
I don't actually know when your birthday is.
any album of his choice,
Mm-hmm.
and we were forced to listen to it, no matter what.
Wow.
This is racist.
This
But
is gonna be brutal.
then he picked a good album.
James?
All right, this
My name
album.
is Rob.
I'm here.
He's here. Here. It was like attendance back in school. I am James.
Okay.
And I chose this album.
Tell us about your album, James.
So this album, I was inspired to choose a good album when Cliff chose The Refused. Back on Cliff's birthday when he chose The Refused.
I like you've said this before, but I like you keep implying you're like before that you were just gonna be like, how could I torture them as much as possible?
It's in my notes. It was like, make sure you tell them why you chose this album. But chose this album. I was inspired to choose a good album that I love. I think it's like my favorite album. It's one of my favorite albums. Lupe Fiasco, The Cool. That's a concept album. which I've forced Cliff to listen to before. But since Cliff doesn't listen to lyrics, I've written down lyrics to make sure he understands how good this album is today.
And who is Lupe Fiasco?
He is a rapper from South Side Chicago.
You didn't pick Kid Cudi?
That was my second.
The wrong album.
Man. So I was listening to Kid Cudi the other day, and I was like, I should have chose Kid Cudi. But because Kid Cudi and Lupe Fiasco are like my two favorite. They're two of my favorites.
You didn't
But,
pick Lil Yachty?
I do like Lil Yachty.
I like Lil Yachty.
Don't know if I've ever heard him.
But yeah, Lupe Fiasco, I had this, this might just be my thinking. Back when Lupe Fiasco first emerged, when it was, Kanye was coming out of Chicago. This is before Kanye went crazy, to anyone listening. This is before he, is who he is now. I would have looked at, Kanye as, like, Dr. Martin Luther King, and Lupe would definitely be the Malcolm X to Kanye's Martin Luther King.
Oh, okay.
I say that because Kanye went down that dark. He went down a really dark, like
mental illness.
No, Kanye used to be really like pro-black. Like he used to be like really pro-black, and then like somewhere along the line, he like took a turn for the worse. But like around that time, like 2007, when his album came out, it used to be Kanye and Lupe because they were like one and the same. It was like they both were from Chicago, and they both were like sort of conscious rappers, and they both would speak about, you know, problems within like the black community. Kanye was more flashier than Lupe, and I have a note about that too. Lupe, he wasn't as flashy as Kanye. He was more on the conscious side. But yeah, he's a black Muslim, which one of the reasons I related to Lupe was because he has a story similar to mine. Like he didn't like rap, and I didn't like rap at all. Like I heard Eminem. Eminem was the first rapper that like brought me into like, I was like, oh, like this rap can be different. And then Lupe took it another step up, and I was like, oh, you can do stuff with this. Like Eminem inspired me to rap, and then Lupe Fiasco, he inspired me to like, you can like tell stories while rapping. Like rap doesn't just have to be bitches and hoes and stuff. And that's why Lupe Fiasco was my favorite rapper.
But I like bitches and hoes. Don't knock on bitches and hoes.
I also like bitches and hoes.
Yeah. So this came out 2008.
I just graduated.
Which, since I also just graduated. Wait, you just graduated?
I graduated in 07, but like this,
okay.
It came out like on the tail end.
I graduated in 08. This is, since you brought him up, same year that 808s and Heartbreaks.
Oh, so this was another tidbit. 808s and Heartbreaks was influenced by Kid Cudi, by like the sound that he was doing, and like Kanye was like, I like that. I'm gonna do that too. You write stuff for me, and then like I'm gonna do that.
It's like you said, a concept album.
Mm-hmm.
A very long concept.
No, it's not.
It's 90 minutes. It's not. It's 70 minutes, but it feels very long. It's just slightly shorter than
people are gonna
Metallica album.
People are gonna listen back on the other episodes when I said like the perfect album is 12 tracks long. When they don't get to this one, I'm like 16 tracks.
This one's 19 tracks.
Wait, which one are you listening to? Mine was only 16.
Mine was 20, but I'm assuming
What?
I'm assuming you're not counting the intro.
There's
so
one
like
40
second intro.
There's one bonus track.
All
No,
right.
I'm
Well, I
counting
probably
the
listened.
intro.
I probably listened. To
Somehow I listened to the shortest one.
It's no, I'm pretty sure this is the standard release. Has 19 tracks. Are you not counting well, even if you don't count the intro, it's 18 because that was the only.
Oh, all right, yeah, you're right.
sketch.
You're right. Mine's 19.
Yeah. So yeah, it's 70 minutes long, which we've talked about this before. Simply too long.
Nope,
Too
no,
long.
it's not.
You gotta get off the top.
It tells a story.
I don't. Well, it should have told.
You don't
a
listen to
shorter
lyrics, that's
story.
why.
Should have told a shorter story.
No, you shouldn't. This
How-
story. So let me tell the story of what.
So wait,
Hold on,
before you
hold
get
on.
into that. Well, no, you can, but let me finish my sentence anyway. and then you can tell the story, because that is important context, I guess, for what the album is. We've talked about this before, but just this length is just, it's too difficult to
No, it's
get
not.
through in one sitting. It's too difficult.
No,
to
it's
get through in
not.
one sitting. Okay, now you tell the story.
Hang on. I just want to tack on to that. It is too difficult to do in one sitting. I agree with Cliff. I had to do it in 2 listens. I had to break it up each time that I listened to the album.
And we've listened to other
I
albums
had to
that were
break
shorter
up
than this, and
Metallica.
you
I had to
agreed.
break up Metallica by song. So this was a lot better than that shit.
Okay, so this
This felt so much shorter than the
Go
Metallica album.
Go ahead with the story. I only read a little bit of this, but
no, I am really biased about this album because of like who Lupe Fiasco is.
well, let me say just to illustrate that, just to make this clear. James has recommended this album to me like 2 or 3 years ago. When I have a thing about hip hop. There's a lot of songs that I like, but it's hard for me to get into like any artist.
He's racist.
because I mostly listen to rock music and it's so album oriented, and hip hop is ever since the internet really took over has just been about singles and at best like mixtapes, 3 to 4 songs.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, I like this song, but there's nothing else for me to like sink my teeth into because they don't really release albums. We were talking about this, and this was one that James recommended to me in relation to that problem. So, yeah, James has been
So like if
this for a long time.
if any person ever told me, was like, I never listened to rap, which album would you recommend me? I would recommend this album or anything from Lupe Fiasco. I feel like he's a good transition from people who's never listened to rap. And I also feel like that was his like downfall, because like a lot of people were like, you're rapping about like skateboarding and stuff, and like can no one relate to that? But like he found like a really like tight little pocket of people like me who are like little black kids who were black and skateboarding. He found like a little like a fan base for himself, but like that can only go so far.
Yeah. Yes, this is a very accessible hip hop. This is very, very accessible hip hop. It's I would say, especially at the time that this came out, almost to me sounds like maybe it's a little bit dated. We were talking about in the car, but I didn't get too much into it. But like this sounds like to me, and I don't know exactly where this came from, but like it sounds kind of like New York hip hop to me that would have been coming out in the mid 2000s. So like dated's probably the wrong word, but maybe like on the tail end of that, where it definitely sounds like that like 2000s like Jay-Z and
it was the last time you could like rap and like say stuff like you can like
and it's more, it's like it's more melodic, and has like hooks, which hip hop now doesn't. They've kind of like got.
I was gonna bring that up. I was like trying to think of I was listening. I forget what song that was, but there was like one hook. He's like singing and stuff, and I was like, oh man, I don't think you can do that in today. Like sing a hook yourself and like have it not be auto tuned.
Yeah, it's I would say, I think from my understanding, which I'm definitely not. I'm hardly an expert on hip hop, obviously, but like from what I remember at that time, this seems like this is kind of on the tail end of being able to get away with that, and sort of started changing towards more like what we have now, which is sort of minimalistic, vocals. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a whole thing we probably don't have time to get to on this, but I think,
there's
what hip hop is now is pretty interesting, but it's kind of a whole different.
There was a controversy with him when he came out with the song "Kick Push," which was about skateboarding, but also he used it as a double entendre about like selling drugs. So like song was about selling drugs, but also skateboarding, and Do you remember Compton Ass Terry? He used to hang out with Bam Margera.
Who?
He was the black dude that hung out with like Bam Margera.
No, probably not.
I remember vaguely.
So like
I don't
they
pay
had this
attention
thing
to these
like when
guys.
he came out the song, they was like, he don't even skateboard. Like they were like beefing with him, but like in the video, Lupe Fiasco was like skateboarding. So it was like he don't even skateboard, but he's skateboarding in the video.
So why don't you give us the overview of the like plot of this?
Yeah.
So,
because
this
I
album-
couldn't follow it
Yeah,
for the most part.
yeah.
There were tracks where it seemed like it
Yeah,
flowed in.
he
and
only-
then all of a sudden there'd be like a track where it was like, this one doesn't fit
Yeah.
with the story, and I can't make it fit at
That-
all. I can tell one
Yeah.
story within this song, but it doesn't fit with like the 4 songs before it.
I was trying to like figure out if there was any other like concept albums like this. So like he only like he will touch in on the story, like even though this is a concept album, he'll touch in on the story on like one song and then like just like go on about his business. Like the song will be like something completely different. And I wanted to bring this up on the last podcast. But so the story is he like what was it? I think it was his first album. He had a song called The Cool, where this drug dealer, I guess he was like a big time drug dealer in Chicago. He gets killed because like he was so big he gets murdered, but then he comes back to life. So he's a zombie drug dealer.
Yes.
Just for preference, Lupe Fiasco is he's a huge nerd. He's just a big fantasy nerd. But so like the guy comes back to life.
Legally, can you prosecute zombies for crimes?
I don't think you can.
I feel like it's a loophole. If you
They've
die,
dead. They've died
if
already.
you die and come back to life, are you really like a citizen anymore? So I feel like you could just sell drugs and they wouldn't be able to do anything about it.
Or
Yeah.
they can just deport you.
They could just like throw you
Or,
in the
yeah,
ocean.
or they can decide like they can be like, yeah, that social security card is no longer valid.
get-
You're nobody.
yeah, that's
Throw you in
true.
a dark
Yeah.
hole forever.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess you lose responsibility, but you also lose all your rights. I suppose.
But yeah, he this album picks up off of it's based off one track that he did on his first album. It's based around Michael Young, who was a drug dealer in Chicago, who was so big he got murdered and he came back to life apparently. And the funny thing about this album is not every track, even though it's a concept album, it doesn't. Not every track touches on that subject. But
Well, that's what a
Like,
that's
I think,
what a
like-
concept album is. You're talking like, well, I don't know what I guess hip hop opera. You're talking about like a rock opera. Is one continuous long story. Like a concept album doesn't have to be one. It's one continuous narrative. It's just it's a concept album if all or at least most of the songs on it are talking about the same, the concept. The concept. So like,
Or all feature, you can also like there are concept albums where they're like the melding of 2 different types of music, and so as long as you do that across each song,
yeah.
yeah.
Agreed.
So like there's a pretty famous story about Jethro Tull when not to derail you too much, I'll do this quick, but so Aqualung came out and all these people called it a concept album, and he insisted that it wasn't a concept album, even though it kind of is. So the first half of the album's about like homelessness, and then the second half's about like how he hates religion or whatever. But anyway, and he was like, it's not a concept album. So after that, their next album he released was called Thick as a Brick, and it's only one song for like 45 minutes. And it's just literally, he just like wrote a narrative. And it's like, it's really dumb. I can't even remember what it is. It's like, it's about, I don't know, some kid and he might be a ghost or something. I forget, but it's just like, just to like make fun of all the people that were like talking about how great of a concept album Aqualung is. But anyway, so that's kind of like, it doesn't have to be one continuous narrative to be a concept album. It's just like, as long as everything's kind of like talking about a similar subject.
So I was looking at the track list. He doesn't even start mentioning the story until like track 4. So you're already like 3 tracks in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought it was the opposite. To me, it was like the first 3 tracks were like Yeah, this is about a young drug dealer.
Oh,
come
actually,
up on
no,
his-
you might be
on his
right.
struggle.
Actually,
and then the fourth track, it just was like, I'm a rich, famous rapper now. Here I am.
so
And then like a song or two after that, they're just like, Snoop Dogg's here. Also,
that fourth track is supposed to be the coolest. It's supposed to pick up from like like being a drug dealer and like I've made it. I'm the coolest guy around, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I never looked at it that way.
I like the idea that Snoop Dogg being there is part of the concept.
Yep. That was the part.
Now Snoop
especially,
Dogg's hanging around with this drug dealer.
Yeah, that was the part on my first listen. Like I was at work, and so it was hard to pick up some of the lyrics, and so I was kind of like in and out on the lyrics. But I definitely noticed when like Snoop Dogg just shows up, and I was like, why is the drug dealer hanging out with Snoop Dogg? And I was like, this goes against the narrative of the story. I'm like, this song just doesn't fit with it, I guess.
Let's get this out of the way real quick, too. I got another controversial opinion here that James
Uh-oh.
is going to be mad about.
I'll flip this table right now.
That I was reminded of while listening to this, and you just brought it up. Don't care for Snoop Dogg. Never understood Snoop Dogg. I like him as a person. I love watching him on TV shows and stuff. Don't understand him as a rapper. He seems so boring to me.
Can you mute the mics?
James and I are going to beat you up now.
For my own safety, I'm going to... Yeah, see, James doesn't like Snoop Dogg either.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Yeah,
I love Snoop
nope.
Dogg.
I'm pretty sure the microphones picked that up, so I'm not cutting it out.
No, I respect Snoop Dogg for like who he is and like what he did for hip hop.
Yeah, but I don't. And
But every time I hear him, I'm like, oh.
yeah, and it's like as a producer and like working with labels or whatever. But him as a rapper, I don't get it. It really seems like he's just like very, like emotionally just like reading lines. Basically,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
But that reminds me of something that I was going to bring up. Snoop Dogg reminds me of something that was like common in, I guess, late 90s, I guess early 2000s with rap. Did you notice that like rappers used to like stand out? Like each rapper had like, you can tell like, oh, this rapper is rapping. Like Snoop Dogg had like a distinctive, like you can tell it's him.
Yeah.
But like now, every rapper like just sounds the same.
Well, I mean that happens in every genre of music. I think that in the like late 80s and early 90s when it really blew up, I think it was just a smaller number of people, and also it was like Def Jam is not it's not an independent label anymore. Def Jam was a record label that was created so that they could put out hip hop records. So it was created by people that really loved hip hop and wanted to put out like the best stuff that, at least what they thought was the best stuff. Now I think it's owned by Sony. I think it's owned by one of the bigger record labels anyway. And it's gonna be the same as any other commercial genre where one person gets real big. For a while it was just off the top of my head, like after 2006-ish, for like 5 years, everybody that came out of the big labels sounded a lot like Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
And then
which is weird because he got turned down by like so many people.
there was a little bit where like everybody sounded like Kendrick Lamar. There was there's a little bit of that. So that's just kind of how like commercial music goes. Whereas I think back then it was sort of like it was a smaller community, and it was like all these people trying to figure out what hip hop is. And so there was just like it was a lot more diversity in like us just because there's a smaller number of people doing it.
I was there was this art when Chester from Linkin Park died. Mike Shinoda was talking about like how when he first met him, and he was saying like when Chester was singing, he sounded like someone, and he was like, oh, you can't do that. You should like sing like yourself. And I was thinking, I was like, in rap, like you can just like sound like anyone. Like no matter, you can just be like rap like anyone and be like good. But like in other genres, they're like, all right, good.
See, now it's that SoundCloud thing where like you can get away with only having 8 words in the whole song, kind of thing, which is really interesting. Yeah. Again, I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on that. I think it's really fascinating what like mainstream hip hop has become today.
Yeah, it's merged into I don't know. It's merged into a whole different genre. Like I don't even know like where to put it.
Well, I think. Well, here we go. I think SoundCloud. I think when SoundCloud first hit the mainstream and that turned into an actual style. Because there's a very I'm sure there's a lot of people that make hip hop and put it on SoundCloud, obviously, that don't sound like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say SoundCloud rap, like when I say that, you know what I'm talking about, like what sound I'm talking about, right? I look at that as like we're now in where rock music was in like 1978 with punk and hardcore first came out. I think SoundCloud is really like the punk equivalent of rap, where I think this is the first time that it might actually be advancing into an entirely different direction. At least since like gangster rap.
Yeah,
I think honestly, like I think everything up until SoundCloud rap was like just sort of variations on. And again, this is probably would get me in trouble too, but like really just like
he's canceled.
just light branches off of gangster rap. I feel like it's just been chasing that ever since until SoundCloud, until the SoundCloud rap style. I really think this is like actually a different thing finally. In the way that like everything up until 1978 was just trying to elaborate on what the Beatles did in a way.
Yeah.
Which were really just trying to elaborate on what Elvis did. And Chuck Berry. And anyway.
It's me, your cousin, Gary Glitter.
So let me just real quick.
Speaking of inappropriate,
I meant to ask you guys.
No. Rob has an inappropriate thought.
All right.
yeah. Did anyone else laugh way too hard every time during the intro when the girl?
I'm
went,
offended.
Katrina.
Oh, I hated that intro. God, I hate that. That was.
It made me laugh hysterically every time when she's like, they leave you thirsty,
well,
Katrina.
Anyway,
So when I first suggested this album, I immediately thought of the intro, and I was like, oh, I forgot about the intro. I was like, nope, they need to hear this.
I want to read a couple things from the Wikipedia
She's on
page.
like every album he's ever done. She's on the intro.
Oh, really? I want to read two passages that are just quotes from
Katrina.
Lupe Fiasco on the Wikipedia page about this album. So the first one is the inspiration. So he said, somebody asked him like where the album, like the lyrics and the idea for the album came from, and he said, a lot of lost. I lost my father. I lost my business partner in prison, and I lost some friends. It was a very dark period. It still is in some aspects, but I'm kind of coming out of it. But especially during the time that the album was being cooked in my head, it was a very dark kind of period. Okay, so that's like the emotional thing. So this is about the story. Like you said, it's coming out of the song "The Cool" from the first his debut album. So I expand on the story. I introduce two other characters, the game and the streets. The streets is a female. She's like the action personification of the streets, the street life, the call of the streets. The game is the same way. The game is the personification of the game. The pimp's game, the hustler's game, the con man's game. Whatever. I feel really white saying that list of things. But
did he say that?
No, that's a quote, but when I say it, it sounds extremely white. Then they've got supernatural characteristics. Like the Cool, his right hand is rotted away. The only thing that rotted away was his right hand. It represents the rotting away of his righteousness, of his good. And the streets and the Cool kind of have a love affair going on. So she's represented by this locket. I have no idea what he's talking about here. And the locket has a key, and it's on fire.
It's on the album cover.
And as a gift to the Cool on his rise to fame, she gave him the key. And the key represents the key to the streets. So she wears a locket around her neck at all times. And the way the story goes, she's given that key to a ton of people throughout time. Al Capone, Alexander the Great, whatever. She's giving away. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at this because this is really intricate, but it's funny to me because it's really complicated. She's giving them the key to the streets, fame and fortune, but also the prices. The game. He's represented by a stripped down skull, a skull with dice in his eyes and smoke coming out of his mouth. The billowing smoke is actually crack smoke. It's not a full concept album. It's more spread out, like 5 tracks, really abstractly. So. Yeah, I guess I could see how you would have to take 70 minutes to get through all that. But yeah, it's. I wasn't laughing because the idea is funny. It's just that it's like a lot of shit.
Yeah, he was supposed to. So it was supposed to be this album, and then he was going to end it with a novel, like concluding like the whole story about like Malcolm Young. But he never had the chance because when he finished his album, so I guess his whole plan was to do 3 albums. He was going to do his first album, the second album, and then. He was gonna like end it off with he mentions on this one, LUPN.
Yeah. Yep.
But his record label had like some weird like some deal where like they were taking like all his money. I think 360 deal. It was called a 360 deal. So where even though he was signed under this label, if he went and shot like a commercial for like another company, the record label got like they took the money.
Yeah.
So like he was talking about like he was like I almost killed myself. Like he was going to commit suicide because like he was like I don't know what else to do. Like after this album, like he wanted to end it. Like he only wanted to do 3 albums and like it like he like shined a light on record deals and contracts and stuff. Like which I didn't know. Like they were like doing shady shit like that.
Oh yeah, no, that's. I mean, they've been doing that forever. I mean, that sounds like a pretty extreme version of it. But I've heard about that. That's not the first time I've ever heard of one of those kind of deals where they just own like every creative output that you put out for like a certain amount of time.
Like he was talking about like he was like I would go shoot a commercial for like Adidas. And I'm like, all right, good. And it was like then my record label would be like, and that's our money.
But it happens a lot that like you're a new because when you're a new artist you don't have any leverage. You really like if that's what they offer to you, it's either that or you don't get a record deal. You don't really get any say in it. But like so that's happened a lot where like bands will put out they'll sign like a 5 record deal and then they'll put out like just like 10 B-sides from one of the other records, just like as the 5th album to get out of the deal. Bruce Springsteen like recorded a just like off the top of his head acoustic album in like a week just to get out of his deal.
David Bowie did that too.
Yeah,
I think it was like all stuff he didn't care about. That was sides.
He recorded a whole album just to get out of his contract.
Slapped it together, recorded it, and then
that's been happening for a long time.
A month or 2 later was like, all right, I'm signed with a different person, and I've already got the album done because I actually wrote it when I was working with the other people. But
okay, I gotta officially ask you guys. 40 minutes into this, I still haven't asked. What did you think?
I'm avoiding that.
We already know James things. Yeah. We still don't believe you listened to it, but
what? I listened to this 3 times. Actually,
I'd probably listened to this maybe more than any other album we.
This is your second time listening to this?
Except for maybe the Pete Townsend one. I listened to that a lot, but yeah, I listened to this, although not completely through several times because, like I said, it's too long. 70 minutes is too long for an album. I can't. It's very difficult for me to get all
20 tracks is a perfectly normal.
But other than that, yeah. Oh, and that first track, I hate that opening thing.
What?
I can't stand.
You hate Baba?
I can't stand.
You hate Baba because she tells you what your people did.
No, I can't stand that corny slam poetry shit. It's awful.
Yeah.
Never liked that kind of shit.
You only hate it because you're white.
Well, that's fine, but I do.
Any level of spoken word stuff, I'm not on board with it. I don't want to.
I wouldn't go that far, but that kind of like really stylized, corny, like thought poetry shit is like.
You don't talk about Baba like that.
Corny to me.
But
I just pictured a 50s beatnik doing it.
I wanted to point out that
she was wearing those clothes.
One thing I wanted to point out is that every track by Lupe Fiasco. One track by every track by Lupe Fiasco. He makes sure he switches it up, and I'm not sure if you don't listen to lyrics, so
Nope, I don't.
Little Weapon was about how like kids are shooting up schools, which it's interesting because like at that point in time in like 2007, like there wasn't a bunch of like school shootings. Like we had like Columbine.
That was way before. No, we'd had
Even that was like way before. Yeah, like
we'd had a few, but they weren't as
Yeah.
big as
When was the one that Alex Jones was claiming didn't happen?
That was-
Got sued for
2 years ago.
because that was like the first.
Sandy Hook.
That was the first one. Yeah, Sandy Hook.
that was later. That was
Way later. That was like 2 years ago.
most of- we had
Okay, well, it's definitely
We,
longer ago than that. but-
we did have a bunch like
That
between
was-
Columbine and then, but they all were like one kid
Yeah.
get shot,
There was-
or like
yeah.
no one would get killed, but like we had a bunch of like guns still arriving in
Yeah.
schools.
But that was
And
no,
then
but
that
that
just
was like
that was just like the big one. That and Virginia Tech was another.
a lot of.
Oh, I forgot about
yeah,
Virginia
what was
Tech,
Virginia
yeah.
Tech? I
Probably
forgot
like
about that one.
2009,
But
I
that
wanna
also
say.
didn't follow like there were a million of it. It seemed like after Sandy Hook, it was like every month there was one.
Yeah.
for a while.
Well, I think it was the coverage. There just wasn't
Yeah.
coverage before because there weren't, there
Yeah, there were
hadn't
there
been
were
a
shootings
huge
in school.
massacre.
There were
Yeah.
shootings in schools, but there's a difference between a shooting in a school and a school shooting like Columbine or Sandy
Yeah.
Hook, where a guy went in with an assault rifle with the
Yeah.
express purpose of
Yeah.
mowing down as many children as he
Yeah.
possibly could.
Yeah, no, I think it was, I still blame coverage of it. I'm part of it.
Maybe
They glorify it.
the Virginia Tech shooting was 2007, so that was before this came out.
All right.
Mm.
But I would even say like a college shooting is kind of different too. For one thing, everybody lives on campus, and those are actually adults.
Yeah.
Whereas generally, like high schools and middle school, it's like some kid that got bullied a lot. Yeah, no, this is good. It's like I said, it's kind of interesting to me because it's like really accessible, which is good, but it's like I don't know. I'm not used to this kind of hip hop anymore. Is all?
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore.
I don't even think like
if someone tried to like rap like this, like in this day and age, you'd be like,
I said,
turn this off.
Like I said, like 808s and Heartbreaks came out the same year, which is also a good album, but I don't even think that's like as accessible
Yeah.
as this is. This is very like this is like you said, like you could. I'm not saying that he did this on purpose, but like you could say that this is like hip hop for people that don't listen to hip hop, like you said, because it is very like melodic. There's a lot of like
There's
a lot of kind of like guitar parts and stuff behind it, and it's
and
got
also
hooks and
he was
stuff.
influenced by Linkin Park. On his first album, here's the track produced by Linkin Park, and on this one,
This one's got
On
the
this one-
Fall Out Boy.
God damn it,
on
I was
one.
about to. You were supposed to mention that.
Um,
I was gonna tell you guys a guess.
Which one was it?
Can you guess?
I wouldn't be able to guess.
It's a Little Weapon.
And,
You can hear he sings on Patrick Stump sings on that track.
and then
He's like singing in the background.
Okay.
Josh Homme's on
Mm-hmm.
one of them.
I don't know who that is.
Josh Homme?
Nope.
Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh,
And,
okay.
I just flipped the table.
I mean, it's a pretty big personality. Yeah. Well, anyway.
But yeah, that was like his whole
Good.
Lupe Fiasco's whole thing was I don't know. I just feel like Lupe Fiasco's me. Like he has like another he has like more tracks that like aren't featured on his albums, to where he's like, and Linkin Park was like inspired me to like rap and stuff, and I'm like, me too. And he's like, and I wanted to skateboard. I'm like, I wanted to skateboard too. Like he like I don't know. I just feel like I have a bias because I just feel like he embodied everything that I was at that time.
Yeah, and then the only other thing that I wanted to talk about this is that I brought up in the car Well, I said this a few minutes ago, but like this sounds like Jay-Z or something, like New York hip hop that would have been coming around this time, maybe a little bit earlier kind of stuff. Oh, like that. What is that one that he did it's with Alicia Keys, right? The like I Love New York or whatever, or New York or whatever it's called. It sounds like that style.
Yeah.
Of like pop, hip hop kind of New York stuff. He's from Chicago.
Yeah.
And then there's Kanye. I'm getting to the point. Sorry, I kind of go around this, but like Kanye, who's from Chicago. You said I didn't. So Common. Who was that other person you said?
It was Common, Chief Keef.
Chief Keef, who I've never listened to, so I don't even know what he sounds like. But
you don't need to hear it.
like, who else? Is there any other like big like mainstream hip hop artists?
Pretty sure there's more, but like it's so like spread across. Like listening to Kanye and then like hearing Chief Keef is like what?
Yeah. So that was the point. So it's like I don't. Is there like no like unifying sound? Oh, Chance the Rapper. He's from Chicago.
Chance the Rapper. Also,
like another completely different sound.
Who what's his name? Childish Gambino. I can't remember his real name.
From? Yeah, who cares? Well, as a
what's
rapper,
his real name?
he's Childish Gambino.
What's Childish Gambino real name?
Donald Glover.
Oh,
Donald Glover.
Yeah, whatever.
Who he found him.
Yeah, who Chance the Rapper is like a completely different sound too. But so like there's like no, like LA at least in the 90s had like a very distinct sound, and New York had a very distinct sound. Chicago, there's like some bigger names that came out of it, but like I don't feel like any of those like have very much in common. Yeah,
I wanted to mention though about the whole Chance the Rapper and Donald Glover thing. So Donald Glover used to rap at like an art show or whatever. He would like go to like different like venues and like just rap before he was like even discovered. And like somehow like Donald Glover, he was already on Community by the time, and he had heard him and he was like, oh hey, he gave him a beat. He was like, rap on this beat. So Chance the Rapper, he goes and like he raps on this beat. He sends it back to Donald Glover, and he was like, I don't know if I went too. He's like, did I go too long, or he was like, should I like shorten it down? And like Donald Glover was like, no, that's fine. Donald Glover said like 5 words on the official song. The whole point of the song was like, you need to hear this new guy. I was like, that doesn't happen no more. And like in rap, like that doesn't happen anymore. Like where people are like, you should hear this person. I was like. And that's the moment I miss that in rap. Like, it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything to say about that. I'm not really up on the business dynamics of rap music.
Well, yeah. Like, I don't think anyone is like. It's come so like watered down and like.
One of the things that I find mystifying about hip hop and pop is the same way too. Is like. The like feature thing where like you basically don't put a song out anymore that doesn't have a feature on it as a single anyway, and on the albums. I mean, the albums are like this at least half the songs have a feature on it. I don't really get that. You would think you would want to just write and perform your own songs. I don't, but that's I guess that's just part of the culture's like the collaborative thing. But yeah, well, I don't know if this is another controversial opinion.
It's like black people should be put in cages.
Ooh, that's a little bit more that would be a little bit more than controversial. I would rather hear Chance the Rapper than
what?
Childish Gambino.
So. Oh, all right. Oh no! Wait, no. What?
See, that one is there. That got him mad.
I don't really like
I
Chance
the Rapper.
He's all like, I love my wife.
Yeah. Well, after he like doubled down on religion, he hasn't been as good, but I do still like Chance the Rapper.
One thing I do appreciate, he doubled down on that. Like when people were making fun of him for like when he was all like, I love my wife. He made shirts that were like, I love my wife. I was like, You double down on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not actually a bad thing. It's just repetitive, like he always says it. It's not like, don't lead into it. If that's what you want to say. Just keep saying it. Let's see. What else do I have to say about this?
I have a very small thing.
Okay.
From a previous episode.
Oh.
Weirdly, tying it into a different hip hop episode. In the House of Pain episode, I listed off songs where they had lyrics about Sega Genesis. This one, his song wasn't on there. It wasn't on my list. It wasn't.
He does mention Sega Genesis, yeah.
But yeah, he mentioned Sega Genesis.
He mentioned Street Fighter too.
And I missed it. I didn't do enough research last time.
I had a note where like he goes off. There's one track where he goes off on a tangent where he's like speaking about like Sega Genesis and like Street Fighter, and I was like, this guy's a nerd. I probably would bully this guy.
Which song does he mention? Sega Genesis.
It is on Go Go Gadget Flow.
Oh, that's a good one.
Also, I wanted to mention that Lupe has been mentioned about. I don't even know like what to call this. Like so like Eminem does this like weird thing where like whatever he says like rhymes. He can say like words like that don't rhyme, but he'll make them rhyme. Yeah. And Lupe has been like he's second on the list where they're like, oh, Lupe Fiasco is like the only other person who can like make other words rhyme that don't really rhyme.
Passport.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's another thing I can't talk about because I don't pay attention to lyrics, so I don't really. I remember very, very few lyrics from this. I remember him going go 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 edge of flow.
You didn't listen to anything else on that song?
Nope, I don't remember any of the words from that.
Oh.
Everything is black, 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 black.
And then we were listening to you were pointing out what that song was about in the car, but Dumb It Down.
I gotta bring that up.
The only words that I remember from that are the guy going "Dumb It Down."
So Dumb It Down. That song is probably the most genius rap song that's ever been written because
that is quite a claim.
No, it is
quite a claim.
I talked to Tony earlier. We both declared that song. So look.
Well, if two people said it, then.
So like when he came out, like he was getting shit from a bunch of people. They were like, why is he always using big words? And I'm like, why is he always like he's using big words and like, just dumb this shit down. And he was like, no, I don't want to do that. But also his record label were also they were like, yeah, you gotta like dumb this shit down. You gotta like stop using big words and stuff. Like stop rapping about skateboarding and stuff. So this fucking song.
I like the idea that those are the two things that they want him to stop doing is no big words,
quit being you,
no skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
It's just those two things.
He mentions that in this song actually. But
they have an individuality.
But this song, he every line in this song is a double entendre. And if anyone is listening, I would recommend you go look up the song lyrics that Lupe Fiasco put out for this song. It must have took like fucking, I don't know how you even come up with like the shit that he was rapping in the song, which is like the reason that like I love rap. To like even sit there and like, and no one does it anymore, but like to sit there and come up with like double entendres and like metaphors and stuff is like so fucking good. Well, but like no one does that anymore.
Yeah, I mean hip hop is just I mean all music with lyrics is in a way, but like hip hop is definitely it's just poetry. I mean, and it can be to greater or lesser degrees depending on how much actually they want to write for it. But like stuff like this, it's just like writing poetry. And yeah, that was something else. I just forgot to write it down. But this is like the closest thing to like what some people call like backpack rap. It would be like mainstream.
He has a song called Bad Bad Rap.
It's like conscious hip hop kind of stuff, but it like was mainstream and got into the like Billboard. You know, there's not a lot of other ones like that are like that. This kind of like I'm not sure what the right word is, but like introverted lyrics.
I had a note where I couldn't think of the word for it. Where like he brags, like like in hip hop you have to like brag about like I got this, I got that. Like he does that, but like he doesn't like does it on like a regular level where everyone is like I got this much money, but he does it in a way where you can like relate to it.
Well, I don't have any money, so I can't relate to it. But
Me either.
I have $1,400 currently. haven't been forced to spend that yet.
Well, Joe Biden fell upstairs, so.
All right, contribute to his GoFundMe.
I think that's a good place to stop it. You ready for? Oh no, we don't rate these because they're albums.
10 out of 10 for everyone.
Yeah, well, I knew you were gonna. But since I don't record them, I don't even want to ask. I still don't know why.
Cliff's not recording.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Since I'm not recording this audio at all, I don't know why we decided we weren't doing ratings for the.
Because they're not one-hit wonders.
Yeah, I guess
it would be unfair to. You could walk in here with like one of the greatest albums of all time. You could have walked in here with the Beatles. It'd be very difficult. To be like, who's gonna say that they liked the Divinyls more than the Beatles?
You wouldn't have. You'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, I probably would.
I don't know about the Divinyls specifically.
And I would agree with him.
You don't have any problem doing that.
No, you're right.
I don't know that I agree with that because I think any album that's considered like a seminal album, one of us is pretty likely to disagree.
Probably.
But anyway, don't have to argue about that. I don't know. Rob, you had a favorite song? Pick a favorite song? We can do that.
Yeah. I don't have my track list up. And I forgot.
Okay. Mine's Streets on Fire. It's definitely my favorite one here. I think that's really good. James, can you pick a favorite track?
Intruder Alert.
Or is it all of them equally? Intruder Alert, okay.
About like I like Intruder Alert because each song. So the verse opens up when he's like talking about how the lady got raped. And like the Lupe Fiasco was a great rapper. He's the best rapper ever.
I just really like the chorus. Streets on fire.
That was also mine. Otherwise, I would go.
Wait. Before you, all right. I was gonna ask. Before you said that, those songs. Did you think like he couldn't afford Adam Levine from Maroon 5?
What?
Every time I hear those songs, I'm like, he couldn't afford Adam Levine, so he was like, I'm gonna get the second guy who sounds like Adam Levine.
That did not cross my mind at all. Well, I'm glad that he didn't because I don't like Adam Levine very much.
No.
No, I think I cut that. Never mind. Technically, officially, we didn't talk about Adam Levine. Oh. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I ended up cutting that from, what was that, 2 weeks ago? Okay. Any last words? Wait, which one of us did you agree with? Did you say Streets Are on Fire? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Any closing thoughts on this before we
listen to the album?
Pick our next one.
Oh.
Well, yeah. Are you gonna keep listening, Rob?
I am.
I was gonna say I don't even have to ask.
I don't think any of us ever like continue to listen to any album.
Yeah, I'm not going to
listen to like Leona Lewis.
I'm not going to listen to all 20 tracks, but there are songs on this that I will continue to listen to.
It's hard for me to keep listening to anything because I have to listen to a new album every week. So
yeah, it's very difficult. I have gone back and re-listened to some of our albums.
But as a recurring segment on the show, I'm gonna say, are you going to keep listening? It's just like, would you consider listening to this ever again?
You better.
Just for your own personal enjoyment.
Yes.
So would I. I already know James would. And will literally continue listening. So, All right, you ready for your next album?
I don't think I am.
Let's have it.
Okay.
Finally, a random,
Yes, we are back this week.
an actual
we are back
one-hit wonder.
I'm scared.
The regular,
Back to formula.
our regularly scheduled episodes next week. Number 31.
I'm scared.
As the list is currently constituted is.
Oh no.
You guys aren't going to be disappointed. I am.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
2013.
All right.
It's, yeah, I'm not going to make you guess. It's Daft Punk.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe we got that album so recently after talking about
The
them.
2013 album Random Access Memory for the song
Oh, you're not
Get
gonna like
Lucky. I sure hate the song Get Lucky.
Yeah, that's a good album.
Anyway, if you like what you heard, we are on all your various podcasting platforms. I don't know why I have to keep listing these off, but that's just what I hear other podcasts do, so I'm going to do it. You know, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, or whatever iTunes is currently called. I still don't know what it's actually called now because I'm pretty sure it's not iTunes. But yeah, do your like, subscribe, rate, tell a friend. We're on all the platforms, like I said, so if you like it, let a friend know. And we're probably on whatever they use to listen to podcasts. Hit us up on social media, SKO SoundPod on Twitter and Instagram, which is sporadically updated, but we do pay attention to it. Actually, the Instagram is pretty well. He kept up on. I'm just bad with the Twitter. Yeah, let us know what you thought of this Lupe Fiasco album. Let us know what you think of Daft Punk. Yell at me for not enjoying Daft Punk because I think I'm like the only person on the planet that doesn't like Daft Punk. But I have not listened to this album, so maybe this will change my mind. I don't know.
Yeah. Very disco-y.
But I like disco. Disco's okay.
Yeah, this one's. It doesn't have a whole lot of like electronic messed with vocals.
Let's save that for next time.
Well, yeah, I think you might
Thank
enjoy
you to Jackson and the Pool Sharks for our
Zack
theme
Snyder
music.
cut.
Yes, hopefully in the
Thank
next
you,
week.
Jackson and the Pool Sharks for the Zack.
Thank you to Jackson and the Pool Sharks for our theme music. Hopefully next weekend we will have out a bonus episode reviewing the Snyder cut, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to try to anyway. If I can get everybody to watch it. Which I don't think anybody's too excited about.
We'll just make it one long, regular episode.
No, we're not.
2 hours.
No. Anybody got any closing thoughts for the episode?
Listen to The Cool by Lupe Fiasco.
It is. You already said that about the album.
Listen to it. Listen to it.
That's you.
Listen to it.
Happy birthday, James.
I ain't got no birthday.
It is objectively funny when old people fall up the stairs.
Oh.
Okay. Bye, guys.